Pastor Ed here with Daily Devotions for Thursday, March the 14th, 2024. Continuing our conversation and look at that passage in Mark 12, particularly the verse where Jesus is asked by the scribe, what's the first commandment? And he said, you should love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And the second one is like it. In other words, it's basically the same thing. You shall love your neighbor as yourself, a combination of Deuteronomy 6:4 in the Old Testament and Leviticus 19:18. Well, Fred Douglas Shepard was born on September the 11th, 1855 in Ellenburg, New York, which is in Clinton County. His father died when he was very young, and his mother spent most of her adult life as an invalid. It was probably through this that Fred became associated with illness and for caring for the sick. He lived with his family in Madrid, New York. I thought that was in Spain, but apparently it was in Madrid, New York. I looked it up. It's an extreme northern portion of the state. And it was there at a revival meeting in a Baptist church that he threw himself completely into the Christian life. At the age of 22, he studied medicine, and at 27 married a young lady who was also, interestingly enough, a doctor. And they together felt a calling and turned their faces towards the east, eastern Turkey to be exact. And the Shepherds then spent the remaining years of their lives in eastern Turkey. He started a school of medicine, and 221 men eventually graduated from there to aid in the terrible disease and suffering throughout that country. His records show that by 1914, he had seen 6,000 patients in his clinic. He called on others in over 2,000 homes and had only 800 paying patients. Shepard's service was so significant that he received decorations from the Red Cross and President Taft in 1909 and from the Sultan of Turkey in 1911. The Sultan said, "This decoration bestowed upon you is nothing compared with your most admiring sympathy shown to the suffering humanity." In 1908, the largest Protestant church in Turkey held a silver anniversary of Fred Shepard's ministry there. It was filled with Muslims, Catholics, Anglicans, and Jews, as well as Protestants. For 2 hours, these folks stood and they talked about what Dr. Shepard had done for them. And while reflecting over his ministry, he said that the celebration was really not about him, but about one even greater, God and God's love. And because I've understood a little bit about that love, he said, I try to let others know about it. This is my purpose in life. I did not come to this country to make money or a reputation. I came to bear witness that God is love. And if by my work I've been able to show you him, then I have had my reward, and I thank him. This 5'4" husky farm lad from Madrid, New York, brought relief to an entire country in an era when disease was running rampant. Fred Shepard, as Ken Pell once said, understood a little bit of what it means to love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. John Vianney, who was an 18th century pastor, was once quoted as saying, love for our neighbor consists of three things. Number one, to desire the greater good of everyone. Number two, to do what good we can when we can. And number three, to bear, excuse, and hide others' faults. The kind of love that Jesus is talking about is the sacrificial love that he demonstrated for us on the cross, not the superficial love of this world, the kind of love that only loves the things that are worthy of being loved. The love that Christ demonstrated, the love that the Scripture calls us to, is a love that is unconditional. It involves loving the unlovable at times. And loving our neighbor is at the very core of what it means to love God. Again, those three things: desire the greater good for everyone, to do what good we can when we can, and to bear, excuse, and hide another person's faults. If we did that much and not much else, we would have accomplished a lot. Well, it's not the end. We're going to keep talking about this subject with the last 2 days of the week. I hope you can join us. Hope today you have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, take care. Bye.